Hello again and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse here, aka BGFH, and I am back for a really unique and pretty cool VR experience video. And we are looking at an experience called Where Thoughts Go, Prologue. Now, this version of it came out quite a while ago on Oculus, the Oculus Rift store. There is the main app called Where Thoughts Go, and I would show you that, except low vision wise there are unfortunately some accessibility issues with it. This one you can kind of just dive right in and use the app, but the other one I can't read the interface just because, like, in the beginning of it there are some areas where you have to sign in or create an account or add a name or something. Like I said, I can't quite read the interface. Like if I went over here, like I can get kind of close to it, but by the time I do, I start losing tracking because of my small play area. So, you know, with the glowiness and just, I have trouble getting started with the main version of this app. So we are going to look at the Prologue because I know that it can work. And I wish I could get the other one really to work, because this is a really fascinating kind of social VR experiment. It's not like a social network. You're not chatting with people. But what this is Where Thoughts Go is kind of like, it'll ask you a series of 5 questions here. We got padlocks on the left here. And what that's going to do is it's going to present us with 5 questions. And these are sort of like really open-ended, kind of deep questions. And using the microphone in our headsets, we can record kind of a short answer to that. And, you know, you see all these little orbs, these little balls and things around. Other people will do the same. So when it asks you one of these questions, then you will get to see everyone else's answers. I can grab an orb out of thin air and hit play, basically, and then I can listen to what other people had to say, and then I can leave my own answer for others to see. And one thing that I have been impressed with is that people are actually playing along. You know, they're answering these fairly deep questions seriously. They're taking it seriously, and they're not really just making, you know, joke answers or anything like that. And so it's actually kind of fascinating to see, you know, what other VR users are answering to these questions. And I hope that we do get responses in here, because it seems like these answers expire after a time, and I have tried to record this a couple of times. I recorded one ages ago, but it didn't quite turn out right. I have another video version of this already recorded, but some of my answers are sadly a little bit outdated now. Some of the answers that I gave. If I'm not able to see many answers while recording this video, I may just use the older one that I recorded a couple months ago. But, yeah, so let's just get right into it. We're going to grab this orb. We're going to hit our trigger. And it's going to transport us to a new environment. Okay, maybe. Let me see. I'm going to try something. I hope this doesn't break our video here. I'm going to scooch back. And on the quest, I can hold down... Ah! Okay, that's not... Okay. Does that only work on the quest? You could hold down the Oculus button and it would give you a... It would recenter your view, essentially. Okay, so we are in this watery area, this kind of ocean. We got some rocks down below, kind of a circular thing of some rocks. We're gonna grab this orb, because this game loves its orbs. Come here, Mr. Orb. Oh boy. Are you gonna let me grab it? Oh, okay. Here we go. And so now it's going to form into a question. And we can say, what was your childhood dream and why? Okay, so we got all these orbs here. I do apologize, this music actually got really loud all of a sudden. But we're gonna grab one of these.
I wanted to be a roller skater and live my life just turning word responses. And it didn't happen. And
Okay, wanted to be a roller skater. Let's chuck that behind us. Let's grab. I'm gonna try to grab 2 from each side. That way we get a good variety. Eeny, meeny, how about you? I said, how about you? Come here. Here we go.
After I watched the movie Free Willy, I always wanted to be a dolphin or whale trainer. I loved the bond that he had with this animal that was so big and so beautiful and moved so gracefully, and to be able to set him free, I thought was magical.
Okay, fair enough, cool. Let's grab a couple from the left. Okay, we'll grab this one on our left.
So this is kind of abstract, but my main childhood dream was to be loved. I grew up in a family that was not particularly affectionate, and whenever I could do something that made them proud of me, you know, get a hug for it, that like meant the world to me. So I realized pretty young that I was very good at performing, specifically acting and singing and dancing. So I started doing musical theater, and I was so excited about that. People seemed to love what I was putting into the world. Not just love me, but love the stories I was telling, and love the experience of what I could put forward for them. And that was just totally addictive for me. I wanted to tell stories for people and make them happy, make them feel loved through the stories that I could tell. And now I make video games professionally, so that totally worked out.
Heck yeah. Very cool answer. And see, that's the kind of thing, is like, I could spend the next while. I mean, look at how many orbs we have. There's a lot of questions that people, or a lot of answers to this question. And, you know, every time I've gone into this to try to do these videos, it's cool because you just hear some really fascinating answers, and like, you know, they just kind of let it all out there. They're pretty sincere. And when I grab, it's funny, like once I grab one of these, like the audio, depending on where I hold this orb, the audio will pan. So I like that too. What do we got here?
When I was a kid, I really wanted to be Spider-Man. My mom made me a Halloween costume, handmade. It was incredible, and I wore it far beyond Halloween, and was fairly convinced until about 5th grade.
Very cool, very cool. I can understand that. I would love, like, man, just being able to fly around and like, or just use my webs and just swing around. Like, even just, I've done that VR Spider-Man experience. There would be something really nice and freeing about that. And I'm really digging this sort of, just night sky. We got some clouds, we got hills, we got rocks just out here. So now I'm going to record my own. I've done 2 from each side, and I think I just take my 2 triggers, and when you hear like a tape recorder sound, that means I can record. So now I got to think of an answer. What was my childhood dream? So I do have kind of an idea. Pull apart. I guess my childhood dream to start with, when I was a little kid, I always wanted to do something in, kind of daredevilish, nothing super crazy, but like I always, would watch things on TV with a couple friends of mine or my dad. And like, I would like to do something in like racing, racing cars, dirt bikes, monster trucks, all that stuff just kind of fascinated me. Um, but pretty early on, I realized that was not going to be a thing because I am actually legally blind and therefore cannot drive. Learned pretty early on that I was never going to be able to drive, and so kind of crushed that dream. But then I saw my first video game console, the Atari 2600, at my babysitter's place. I saw my first computer. I saw my first talking computer. I saw, once we got to the NES and that came out, I'm like, whoa, okay, you don't have to just sit in front of the TV and watch it. I can actually control what's on screen. I was just utterly fascinated. And so from that point on, I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew I wanted to do something in technology. Wasn't sure what it was, but I would have loved to do something in technology or video games or something like that. And thankfully, largely, I was successful in that. And so, yeah, if I can't be a crazy motorsports person, I guess I will go completely the opposite and become a big nerd. And I am totally okay with that. So now I will grab it and I will put it in this other orb that appeared, and it'll go wee off into the ether. It is going up to be in the cloud, and now other people who come to play this will be able to see one of these orbs is going to be mine. So let's move right on to the second question here. Go through our little teleporter here. Okay. Now we are in a very cool looking area. We are in, we got behind us a giant like mountain thing. We got some water flowing in, some rocks, some almost like a staircase looking thing, but rocks. We've got giant pillars in front of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So let's grab our next question and figure out what we're going to answer, huh? Okay. The orb is going to form into some words here. And yeah, unfortunately, we're like, okay, well, we're getting a few. I was going to say, the further we go, it seems like there aren't as many answers, like people quit partway through. So let's see, our second question is, why did you first fall in love? Yeah, bad timing. This one is going to be a little rough. But we're going to look at a couple again, a couple from each side.
I fell in love because he had vampire teeth in his mouth.
Okay, sure. That was kind of a weird answer, but okay. One more?
I first fell in love because I met someone who needed me. It sounds kind of weird, but that's basically why it happened. She was going through a divorce at the time, and we were just happy together. And it started off kind of as, not necessarily anything serious, but it grew into a relationship that lasted for 3 years.
Okay, put that one down. We'll grab a couple from our left side.
I fell in love with the person that I was dating at the time only because they could understand my faults. They could see who I was inside. and they worked with it. Every time I did something wrong, there was always forgiveness and understanding. They just, say, was at the time compatible with me.
It sounded like you cut out a little bit there, Guy, but I got the gist of it, though. Okay, we'll do one more from our left. Let's do this one.
The first time I fell in love, I was 5 years old, and I fell in love with the cartoon character He-Man. I think I fell in love with him because he was just there, and he was strong, and he was the hero, and everything that a perfect someone should be. Obviously, this love was unrequited, but I still remember it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, hey, you can't discount someone, you know, in their childhood. You know, they don't know. I mean, everyone's had their crushes or whatever. So I did two from both sides. Now I got to come up with an answer for this one. This one is going to be harder. This one, I'm going to try to keep it short, but I'm going to try and think of something. Yeah. I guess I'm just going to talk about my latest relationship, which again was kind of one of the reasons I kind of had to re-upload this, is just because some of the answers that I had, you know, changed a little bit, and I just didn't want to, you know, have that brought up. So let's go in. I'm going to do my record here. Honestly, how it happened was completely unexpected and surprising and really kind of cool. You know, at the beginning of last year, it was something that it wasn't even on my radar. I just started the year as normal, figured, oh, nothing is going to happen. Never even crossed my mind. A couple months into the year, however, I met somebody online through some of the work that I do. Actually, I'm recording a video for this Where Thoughts Go app right now, and so yeah, doing one of these YouTube videos. Somebody had found my channel and started out by asking a few questions, and then we started talking over social media, and you know, one thing kind of led to another. Social media, talking on the phone, and then we decided to give it a try middle of last year, and it was just a really cool thing. We were together for, unfortunately, not quite a year, but I don't regret it. It was definitely an unexpected experience. I mean, even with this happening, you know, right now, unfortunately, the relationship didn't last, which sucks, but, you know, you never know when things could happen or how. So yeah, that one is going to be a little tough to, that one's just a little rough to try to think of how to word that, because, you know, breakups always suck, and especially after you know, like, you're recording something like this shortly after it happened. I did genuinely I've been wanting to show this app though for a long time, and it's just never come up in my queue. And I really do want to show this because this is a really unique VR experience. You know, you're not communicating like VR social media. It's not a game. It's not purely passive. It's just a really neat, as I said early in the video, social VR experiment kind of a thing. All right, we'll jump through that little portal here. Question 3 of 5. We got a cool looking forest at kind of a dusk. I don't know if it'd be dawn or dusk, but kind of everything's got a pink hue to it. And I really like these chill VR experiences, you know, like Nature Treks VR, this, you know, you get home from work or you're just not in the mood. Like I said, sometimes I want to be in a game or a VR experience. I don't want to shoot things. I just want to relax in my nice new office chair here. And I just want to, you know, chill out and enjoy something relaxing, you know? I really do enjoy this. So let's see what question number 3 is. Come on, Orb, wake up. All right, here we go. Letters are forming. Oh, we have a couple. Okay, we got a few in here. Okay, we got a lot of them here. Okay. Okay, if you could give yourself a piece of advice, what would it be? Oh, I like this question. Again, look at these questions are kind of deep. I mean, after recording this video, like, I could just sit here and go back to some of these questions and just listen to people's answers, because they're pretty fascinating. There's a lot of these, so let's grab a couple.
I would tell my past self that perfection is messy, perfection is ugly, and that I should just search to be the happiest me, which would ultimately be the best me.
That's some great advice. That's actually really, yeah. Perfection is difficult. It's messy. Trying to be too perfect can cause a lot of problems, and she's right on the money there. So, yeah. Okay, let's do one more from our right. Let's grab one from the back here.
If I could give my past self a piece of advice, it would be cherish the people you hold close to you. You never know when someone's time comes, and sometimes it happens very tragically. But to be able to really cherish the time you have with the people around you that you love and you care about, I wish I would go back and tell my past self, spend more time with the people you love.
Yep. Again, really good answer. Really good answer. There are definitely people, family, friends, but especially some family members that I really wish I would have gotten to know better. And I think that's actually going to tie into a future question, believe it or not. But yeah, again, just kind of lets you meditate, a little, think and ponder things a little bit here. Let's grab a couple from the left here.
If I could go back and give myself a piece of advice, I think it would be to try new things. I spent a lot of time doing what I was supposed to be doing, going to school, playing sports, studying, whatever, and I didn't really branch out and try new things, and I would say I didn't even do that until more recently. So number one thing is, go do new things, go explore, do things that is not scheduled, and be more spontaneous, and just live your life.
Again, really good. There's a couple different little gems in there, like he said, explore, try new things, absolutely. But I think the other sort of thing that I caught on there was just the fact that, one of the things he said was, I do what I think I'm supposed to. I go to college, I do sports, I do whatever. And if that's what everyone else is doing, or if that's what your parents want you to do, or whatever, it's worth giving it a shot. But if that were the case, I would be at home working my ass off on the farm right now, which I don't necessarily have anything against. I mean, I totally appreciate farmers. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't have anything. But learn about all this technology stuff, and I figured out, what, after doing some exploring, I found my general calling. And even then, the technology field is so broad, what do I do with it? And only within the last, 5, 10, 15 years have I really started pinpointing a few areas in there that I think, boom, this is where I need to be. This is my thing. I think we only have done one on the left, so let's do one more. God, this question especially, I could just sit here and listen to Elise for a while, but I want to keep this video at least reasonably short.
I'd say just take the risk. Like, everybody, you'd feel like you're alone and not really living up to expectations, but everyone is kind of figuring it out on their own, and you're not alone in that feeling, and it's okay to feel that way, but continue on and take the risk. Do whatever you need to do, and do it with confidence.
Again, agreed. I mean, I've always been interested in technology. I've been interested in accessibility and games and all these things that kind of intersect with each other. But I have my day jobs that I've had, and I still do them. I love them. But the amount of things, believe it or not, that have opened up for me on a whim about 8 years ago, deciding to start a YouTube channel, I can't tell you, taking that risk, this coming from someone who used to be terrified and hated public speaking, to now I babble constantly on videos and streams and whatever else on the internet, podcasts. The amount of opportunities that taking that one risk has opened up for me. I've met new people. I've gotten more professionally into the tech and game industry, into accessibility where I want to be, VR accessibility. Unfortunately, it didn't last, but I found a relationship due to this one risk that I decided to take, so he's spot on. Which leads me to trying to think of something. God, there's so many ways I could go with this, but I think I have an idea of what I want to say. So let's give this question a shot. If I had to give myself, my past self, some advice, what would it be? Oh, there's so many ways I could go with this, but I think I really just have to say that just don't give up on even what you think would be the wildest, unobtainable dream or goal that you had. As I mentioned in one of the earlier questions, I always wanted to be into technology, and I just really didn't know where I wanted to be. I always wanted to be since I got to play video games when I was a little kid, I thought, God, it would be cool to make games. It would be cool to be involved in that field somehow professionally when I grow up. And, I'm not a programmer. I'm not really an artist, but I just kept at it and went at things at a different angle. And, many years later, due to just a series of risks and opportunities I took advantage of, here we are. And I am now working professionally in the assistive technology field. On the side, I'm doing video creation. And best of all, I'm involved with kind of some game design, UI design, technology, accessibility, VR, XR accessibility, and I'm even possibly going to be in the process of making my own game in the fairly near future. So even what you think might be a ridiculous dream, just keep plugging away at it. If it's something, even if you have to kind of put it on the back burner for a while, or work on it in your spare time, keep plugging away at it and find ways to do it, because you never know. It just might happen one day. Okay, so we're going to put this in the new orb there and shoot it off into the ether. And God, there's so many more of these. I could just sit and listen to this question. And again, that's what I like, is everyone is actually, you get a couple answers that are like 3 seconds long, but everyone is taking it seriously, and I'm just fascinated to see what other people have to say. I'm genuinely interested. So let's move on to our next question. Ooh, we got a beautiful night sky here. Kind of an open plain area. We got some hills and stuff in the background, but I really like the starry sky we got going on here. Yeah, I gotta find more, like, even maybe try some of these like meditation apps and just nature things. I'm totally down for some of that. I live in a city. I can't just go out, Come on, would you grab the... There we go. Question number 4. There's 2 more of these. Okay, describe someone you miss. Oh boy. Okay, so this one doesn't have too many. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left. 2, 3. Oh, we got a few more pop. Okay, we got a few more in. So let's see what a couple have to say. You know the drill. Grab it.
I miss both my parents. My mom's alive and my dad passed away when I was 17. It's been almost a decade since he was gone. I don't think about him every day anymore. I just wish I could talk to him and tell him how much I miss him and that I'm mad at him and that I love him. I just wish I could hug him. I wish I could have come out to him. I wonder if he'd be proud of me. He was a movie critic, so I wish I could have just watched one more movie with him. And my mom, she's alive, and I'm an only child, so it's just us. And I moved out a few years ago, and she lives in a city about 2 hours away. And I see her fairly often, but when I go, I feel like so much of the stress of my life and work I take home with me and I release it to her, and it's not fair, and I just miss her all the time. And when I'm with her, I feel like I don't take full advantage of being present. I'm just scared that she's gonna keep working and not achieve her dreams. That makes me scared that I'm not gonna achieve mine.
I told you, things get pretty damn serious in this. Wow. I get it, though. I get it. Alright.
I only knew her for a summer, but she changed my life because she was the first close friend I ever had. And that summer at camp, she was so much fun. She was always smiling and she was happy, and she helped me make a friend group, and she taught me how to make friends. And I miss her because it's been years and I haven't seen her, and I doubt I'll ever see her again, but I just wish I could have the chance to thank her for how much she's changed me and how much she has made my life better, because without her constant joy and her constantly putting me up and making me feel better myself, I wouldn't nearly have as many friends as I have now.
Okay. Yeah, wow. Okay, let's grab a couple from the left.
I really miss my grandmother, who passed away last year. She was the linchpin of a very large Italian family. I think it's been really tough to see everyone kind of disperse in her absence. and she was badass. She drank brandy, she smoked cigarettes at gas stations, and I think provides a lot of the fire and drive for many of my siblings as well as myself.
Yeah? Okay, I get it. I get it. One more from the left.
I miss my cat. He was 20 years old.
Wow.
He's been with me for so much. And I miss my son. He's 11 years old. And my husband and I are going through divorce right now, and it's very, very hard for him.
Oh.
And I love my ex-husband so much. He was my best friend.
Ouch.
I guess I was asleep that night.
Yeah, wow. Some of these are really, like I said, they're thoughtful questions, but the answers that you have to give, the people are just like, you know, it's anonymous. You just hear people and they're throwing it out there, man. Okay, so here, I guess it's my turn. Well, I guess the first and most obvious answer is having just gone through a breakup, miss the person I was in a previous relationship with. I wish to God it would have worked out better. Wish it would have worked out than how it did. But I also have to mention I really miss my grandparents and my great-grandma on my dad's side of the family, especially because they died within a few years of each other when I was a teenager, and they were just really, really cool people, especially my great-grandmother. My great-grandma, she was just really so cool. She had so much energy. She always wanted to learn new things. She was just fascinating to talk to. I wish I could just talk with her again and listen to stories that she had. And I wish that she could see all of the things that I'm into now. Like when she died, I was just really starting to get into technology in the early to mid 90s, and like, you know, things were starting to progress. We were just kind of starting to get the internet. You know, I had the talking computers and different things like that. But if I could show her where technology is right now and all the crazy stuff I can do professionally and just in general, like, I mean, it would blow her mind. She would be fascinated with like smartphones, you know, show her my iPhone. I could show her the Oculus Quest, bring it home when I go home to see family, and like, she would just be so fascinated, and I know she would totally be into trying it, and you know, like I said, my grandparents, my great-grandma, they would just be proud of where I ended up, because it's been kind of a struggle in a lot of ways, but you know, I've fought through it. Here we are. And yeah, I really wish I could talk to them again, see them again. Whew, okay. Put that in its orb. Yeah, God, I could just listen to like so many of these. So on to our last question. Last location and last question. Oh yes, now this one is just a dark void. No, we got a little tiny island, like where we are sitting here. We're just like on this platform in this black void, which, you know, as we've been going on, you know, they've all been thoughtful questions, but they've kind of been getting a little dark and a little grim as we've gone on. So let's see what incarnation. Okay, now all these orbs are black. And they don't just reappear, they will disappear after we use them. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, if you were going to die next year, oh good Lord, what would you do differently? Ugh. Oh, yeah, you knew it had to be about death, didn't you? Well, like I said, I've tried to record this a few different times. I've had slightly different answers. But like I said, especially just with the last couple of months, couple of weeks. Ugh. Okay. Well, let's listen to a couple while we ponder. This could get grim, guys. Let's grab one.
I would spend more time with people and learning about them and myself and just trying to get close to being human.
Yep, and like I said, it just, boom, it disappears. We can't play it again. It's gone. Okay, let's grab one from back here. Come here. Come here. There we go.
I would rack up as much debt as possible. Yeah, that's it. Oh, and I would destroy anything I've ever written, any photographs of myself, and my laptop.
Okay, that is a really interesting answer. Yeah, okay, it's like, well, you're not going to have to pay the debt. The only problem is if you have family or loved ones that can be held liable, you got to be careful because you could put them in a whole bucket of pain. But interesting thought, it's like, hey, I'm going to die anyway. Let's just go for broke, literally. I get it. And then just trying to be going off the grid. Interesting. Couple from the left here.
If I were to die next year, I would try to have a child now so that I wouldn't leave my husband alone and so that a piece of me would live on.
Okay. Yep, fair enough. Okay, let's do one more from the left.
I would immediately quit the job that I currently have and work on telling stories and putting stories out into the world that I think only I know how to tell. I've been through a lot and I would want to share that with the world. I do at some point, but that immediacy would mean a lot, and I'd become as political as I possibly could. I'd be protesting, I'd be doing everything I could to try and make sure that in the next year after that, after I'm gone, the world is set up in a better place, that I'm leaving something behind that matters, that people who are here beyond me have a better life because of what I've done. I'm not really worried about the idea of enjoying my last year of life. I would probably sleep as little as humanly possible and not worry about seeing things I really, really cared about seeing. I just want to set up, do everything I can to leave the world better than how I found it.
Yeah, good answer. And it's so interesting because, you can literally hear, you can hear people just, fighting back emotions. Some of these questions, they kind of get to them. Boy, okay, now it's my turn. How do I want to answer this? Okay, well, I'm going to try to coherently babble something. If I were going to die in the next year, what would I do differently? Oh boy. There's a couple different ways I kind of want to approach this, but I really think that I would really at least want to have a few really great experiences with the people that are close to me in my life. My family, I don't really have all that many close friends. So really being able to do something with them, um, just to enjoy a bit of the last days that I have and give them something fun to look back on. So friends and family, I definitely want to do a bit of that. And I guess I also would want to leave kind of a mark. I'm doing a lot with like accessibility and advocacy and, technology accessibility advocacy and things like that. But like, I feel where I'm at right now, I'm kind of on a roll, and it would suck to really have to be able to go, oh crap, I only have this little bit of time left. And, I want to leave the world in a better place for people in the future. But, just me maybe trying to be able to push forward on like do one last great thing. I don't care if I'm remembered for it. That's not what I'm looking for, but it's just like get one really good goal that I really wanted to accomplish and hopefully see it through and be able to make the world um, a bit better and a bit more accessible for people before I go. Yeah, that's okay. Let's put it in there. It fades out, and that is the experience. Now we are going to be able to hear I think I'm not sure if we're loading or okay, yeah. Okay, so now it's going to bring up to wrap up this experience. We get to hear just my answers, and I have to do them one at a time because when I recorded this the first time, oops, I just went, oh, okay, I thought they would just interrupt each other. Yeah, no. It was totally voices in my head. There was just dialogue everywhere that was talking over each other. So we're gonna yoink. I guess my childhood dream to start with, when I was a little kid, I always wanted to do something in, kind of daredevilish, nothing super crazy, but like I always, would watch things on TV with a couple friends of mine or my dad. And like, I would like to do something in like racing, racing cars, dirt bikes, monster trucks, all that stuff just kind of fascinated me. But pretty early on, I realized that was not going to be a thing because I am actually legally blind and therefore cannot drive. Learned pretty early on that I was never going to be able to drive, and so kind of crushed that dream. But then I saw my first video game console, the Atari 2600, at my babysitter's place. I saw my first computer. I saw my first talking computer. I saw, once we got to the NES and that came out, I'm like, whoa, okay, you don't have to just sit in front of the TV and watch it. I can actually control what's on screen. I was just utterly fascinated. And so from that point on, I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew I wanted to do something in technology. Okay, I don't know why it cut off. Okay, I guess my childhood dream. Shut up. I guess my childhood dream to start with when I was a little kid. Okay, there it went. I don't. Maybe they can only be so long, and I went too long on that one. Let's. Honestly, how it happened was completely unexpected and surprising, and really kind of cool. At the beginning of last year, it was something that it wasn't even on my radar. I just started the year as normal, figured, oh, nothing is going to happen. Never even crossed my mind. A couple months into the year, however, I met somebody online through some of the work that I do. Actually, I'm recording a video for this Where Thoughts Go app right now. And so, yeah, doing one of these YouTube videos. Somebody had found my channel and started out by asking a few questions, and then we started talking over social media. And one thing kind of led to another, social media, talking on the phone. And then we decided to give it a try middle of last year. And it was just a really cool thing. We were together for, unfortunately, not quite a year, but I don't regret it. Yeah, and so we just kind of trailed off there. So I think I'm not going to go through these other three on the camera because you heard me babble them. But basically what happens is you listen to them. It's almost like a confirmation sort of a thing, I think. So it just goes boom. And eventually all these are going to go away. They're going to disappear once I play them again. And then we'll be brought to the main menu. So maybe, I don't know if like they're not actually uploaded until I actually finish these. But yeah, you're just kind of reviewing the answers to the 5 questions that you've had. So we are going to wrap up the video here, but this is Where Thoughts Go Prologue, and I really, really do wish I could get the full new experience to work, just because, like I said, I was not able to read that beginning interface with like the login or name or whatever the heck it was trying to ask me to do to get into the app. And it's a bummer because even with these 5 questions, I'm just genuinely sort of fascinated with the answers that people give. The 5 questions that they decided to ask are actually pretty interesting and can offer some wide variety in, semi-serious answers to just really, there's a few of those that were really brutal, really, kind of deep and kind of sad, but there you go, Where Thoughts Go on the Oculus Rift. And this is one that I hope comes to the Quest, because I would love to bring my Quest home to my family. And this is a great kind of a first-time VR experience app for somebody to try. And even if I were to get like my mom to go through this and like, she could say her bit, I think she would kind of find it fascinating too. So, yep, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79, mixer.com/BGFH, illegally-cited.com, or of course, youtube.com/illegally-cited. Thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing and sticking with the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will chat with you guys in the next one. Later.